Good. 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
Alright, guys, welcome back. Oh, fuck, let me go again. Who's that?
Gareth.
Just chuck it up and talk to him. Mate, you coming into work?
3, 2, 1.
Alright, guys, welcome to episode 2 of AskWoodford. We are back by popular demand after the first one, which went so well. So we had a lot of questions this week. We might as well get into it straight away. But before I start, I want to thank our sponsors, Mac Iron Fitness, for all your equipment needs. At Woodford Sports Science Consulting and ChristianWoodford.com, we only use Mac Iron bands. To order, go to www.macironfitness.com.au. Now, I've came around, Alex. We've got 4 questions, three questions I know about, 1 mystery question. Mm-hmm. Alex, go, hit me up. Here we go.
Question 1 from Jordan Moore.
Jordan, wait. Well, hello, Jordan. Go.
Never had hamstring issues up until pre-season, WAFL.
Which is waffle.
And have done both hamstrings, one in December and one on the weekend. The strongest and best I've felt leading into the season, but unsure why I now have hamstring issues. I know it could be multiple things, overuse mechanics, etc. But wanted to get your take on what can cause hamstring issues.
So I did a post today on hamstring injuries, right? So this answer will go for a while, right? Hamstring injuries, obviously, I've got a background in it. The reason why I got such a background is because when I was younger, I went kind of through this whole phase of when I first started doing weights. Bought my first dumbbell set at 15. Mum told me, and obviously I haven't grown much since then. So for anyone out there who wants to call me out, yes, I've been lifting since I was 15. I've got not much to show for it. So I remember when I was younger, I went on this spree of everyone starts on it. How they start chest tries, back buys, splitting muscle groups. For an athlete, that's the most ineffective way to train. You don't want to train like a bodybuilder, you want to train like an athlete. And I want you to think the body works as one unit, not in isolation. So training, splitting muscle groups doesn't make any sense. Chest tries, back buys, legs, all that stuff, it doesn't really make sense. So when I was younger, I went on this massive thing that a bigger muscle is a better muscle. If you look big, you're obviously an athlete. And then once I got older, started doing exercise science, started to understand the power of the nervous system and how bigger guys might not always be strong. Okay, yes, a bigger muscle has the potential to be a stronger muscle, but that doesn't always correlate with athlete performance, jumping higher, sprinting quicker, changing direction more effectively, or preventing injury, so non-contact soft tissue injury. So I went on this whole thing of getting bigger, and I remember my first year seniors, I did really well. Second year I came back, I think I put on 7 kilos, and I'm not sure, a bit of it might be fluid, water retention. But I definitely got slower. I felt slower, and I was less mobile because I wasn't really concentrating on mobility. I wasn't concentrating on moving the weight quick. I wasn't concentrating on focusing on heavy load, low rep, sub-max load lifted quickly, speed work, conditioning work. I was mainly just in the gym doing your chest tries, back buys, your split, just high volume work. And I came back and I strained my hamstring about 2 to 3 times. So people ask me how I know so much about hamstrings is because at the time, I was really close with my physio, and she wasn't a sports physio back then, but she's a sports physio now. She's a pretty good physio, and I learned a fair bit of pathology of hamstring injuries through her, so I understand how to rehab it. But the missing link for me with hamstring injuries, which I never did, was mid to end stage return to perform programming, and we don't do it enough in Australia. And I could go on for years about this. I think there's a massive discrepancy, and there's someone, and I'm trying to take that gap right now, where an athlete gets injured here, and a physio, osteo, chiro, allied health professional will diagnose and early stage treatment, that's fine. But then they go from here straight back to playing. Now, there's a difference between return to perform and return to play. And a lot of these guys just return to play and they don't recondition their bodies. So what I've kind of found with hamstring injuries in Australia is a lot of these guys do your bridges, your low-level mobility stuff, stretching. They do some running, they do some conditioning work, basic running work, and they build up slowly. But they don't do enough strength, power, speed work. Anything about field-based sport, what was this guy's name? Jordan. You think about sports like this. Now, I don't know your background, so I'm just guessing at this, but and I'm guessing if you're in the waffle, you've got a high-performance guy, you've got a rehab guy, strength and power guy. So I'm guessing they do it okay, but what I've kind of found is they don't do enough high-intensity work, and high-intensity to me could mean strength, power, or speed, depending on how you look at it, because you can define high-intensity by that. So I just felt like there's a massive gap in the market at the moment for mid to end stage return to perform programming. So if you look at hamstring injuries as a whole, we get that diagnosis in early stage, but we don't get enough of this, and that's what I do. And that's why I've kind of specialised in ACL rehab, hamstring rehab, and I work with a lot of good physiotherapists to really integrate well with the pathology and the rehabilitation and the return to perform, reconditioning part of it, which is real critical. So I'm not saying that I'm not saying that I'm the most important, but it takes a whole team of individuals from pathology, physio, osteo, chiro, to the head coach, the player, the athlete themselves, to the strength conditioning coach, to the head coach as well. And they've all got a role, and they all should have input at certain stages of the rehab process with ACLs, with hamstrings as well. So I think the biggest thing about hamstring injuries and rehab, and I talked about it today, is a lot of athletes think when they strain their hamstring, the first thing you think about is I got weak hamstrings. For me, a lot of people don't, and I harp on about it, and I can't tell you, see you Xavier, good to see Xavier over there, one of my long-term athletes, Xavier Morgan, just over there, just walking out. Thank you, Xavier, appreciate that. Thanks for seeing you on episode 2 of Ask Woodford. Do you have a question for Ask Woodford?
No, mate, I've already heard enough.
No, he's had enough shit. I had him for 3.5 years, so he's probably heard enough. Go D La Salle this year, mate, A grade. So the first thing you think of is I've got weak hamstrings. This is wrong because most of the time it's not because you have weak hamstrings. So what they do is go to the gym, they do a lot of hamstring work. So it might be, and I could go on back for this for years, but maybe someone should ask me a question next week for Ask Woodford on Nordics. They talk about Nordics a lot. They talk about, I've done heaps of leg curls, heaps of Nordics, I should be fine. But it's not because your hand, and trust me, how I know this is through theory, what theory I know in terms of neurophysiology, but also practical application, the art of coaching, but also results. I've rehabbed guys, the worst guy I've ever had was he strained his hamstring 30 times in 5 years, and I rehabbed him in 3 weeks. Well, I had him better in 3 to 4 weeks. He's like, man, I've never done this. I've gone to like 15, 20 guys, doctors, sports doctors, physios, osteos, and no one's fixed me. What was the biggest thing you found? I said, well, because they've attacked the hamstring. They haven't attacked the root cause of the problem, which is your lack of glute activation. Your glutes are very dormant. When I say dormant, I'm not saying they don't switch on. What I'm saying is there's really low level connection, and you've got to really... Can you be quiet? Can you be quiet, please? I can't hear myself thinking. Can you shut up? Now I've lost my train of thought. Stop you, dickhead. So, can you be quiet? It's not because of lack. This is why we're going to do it when no one's here.
It's part of it.
It's annoying. I lose my train of thought real easy. Anyway, it's not because it's not because of weak hamstrings, it's because of lack of potential of activation of the glutes. Now, I want you to remember, the glutes are the first hip extension of the body. So when you jump, when you sprint, when you change direction, your glutes are heavily involved. Now, let's take this scenario, right? Let's say you're really quad dominant, you don't use your glutes that well, and you're very hamstring dominant. So your hamstrings become what we call synergistically dominant. So they're doing the role of the prime mover, which the prime mover is the glutes. So the glutes don't work, the hamstring have to do all the load. What do you think's going to break down? The hamstrings. It makes fucking sense, doesn't it? So let's look at this, right? Let's say your glutes aren't working at full potential. I'm not saying they don't activate, because when you hip extend and you walk, your glutes fucking work. I know that. So before someone hero calls me out and says, this guy's so stupid, like he's not saying the glutes work. Yes, dickhead, they work. I understand that. What I'm saying is they're not functioning at full potential. Please, don't write that to me because I understand. I'm not fucking stupid. Alright? I understand this. I've seen it. I've rehabbed it. I've seen a pattern in my athletes. I've seen it all the time. I get guys back to sport better than before because I understand you need to hit the hip hard. You've got to tap the hip hard. Right? Let's say you're dormant through your glutes and you're in a high intensity intermittent sport, right? Like football, right? And you're jumping, you're sprinting, and you don't use your glutes very well. Where's the load going to go? The hamstrings. What's going to break down? The hamstrings, okay? I know it's not that simple, but trust me, most of the time it is. And I've seen it. I reckon I've rehabbed 100 hamstring. I've been at Woodford 5 years nearly. I'd say at least 100. Right, have come through my doors and I've rehabbed it. I've used the same methods time again. And I see a common theme with when I do things. I have a pattern, and I know the glutes are critical. Everyone laughs at me. You talk about the glutes all the time, but it works. I've seen it. Most people very quad dominant. They don't, because they sit down so much in a hip flex position. What I'm and Alex in, and they're dormant because the glutes switch off when you sit down, and not enough guys focus on it. I keep seeing it. So if you want to keep not doing, keep straining your hamstring, come now, keep rehabbing it. But you keep saying the same thing. This is the main areas I look for is glute activation, hip mobility, pure speed work, conditioning work, and management as much as possible. Also, number 6, strength. Strength needs to facilitate. Now, I could go into every detail, but we'll be here for about fucking 3.5 hours, and him and I could talk shop. But I'm going to leave it at that. Biggest thing that I want you to attack, what was his name again? Jordan, attack the hip, attack the glutes, mobilise the hip, attack the glutes. Okay, bridges, hip thrust, double, single leg, RDLs. Favourite movement. And I know people talk about Nordics, so someone's asked me a question about next week in Nordics. I'll go through my whole, what I think of Nordics, but they talk about Nordics in the research, and they talk about Nordics when you're on your knees and you come down, it's eccentric loading the hamstring. And if you look at the 4 factors to hamstring strain, eccentric strength, age, previous injury, and fatigue, eccentric strength is one of them. But they talk about fascicle length of the distal hamstring, and it's so important. I do no distal work, I just do proximal work, and it works fine for me. Because, the research might say Nordics are great, but my research, real world, showing that I don't use them, I don't need them. If it works, it works. This is what works for me. So for all the people out there, I don't give a shit what you say about Nordics. I don't use them. Get over it. Move on. Next question. Woo! That's it. Done. I can't talk about that anymore. That's just...
Can I throw in an extra question from Instagram? Instagram Live right here?
Yeah, just go.
Would you change your rehab patterns for masters athletes? Does that make sense to you?
Huh?
Would you change your rehab patterns for masters
athletes? On my Facebook or ChristianWoodford.com?
Woodford's Instagram Live.
Oh, nice. I didn't know you could do that. Could you do that?
Yeah.
Shit. We're live. I didn't even know we're live. Say that again. Ask you one more time that question.
Would you change your rehab patterns for masters athletes from elite sports conditioning? I don't really get that. Do you get it? We can just skip it. If you don't
know. No, but what he's saying is, I think what he's saying is...
Like highly trained athletes?
He's talking about the difference between highly trained and masters athletes. Well, obviously, you've got to have a very individualised approach to it because it's critical. The older they get, everything slows down. And what you get when you get older is sarcopenia or muscular atrophy. So everything slows down. So pretty much you get the muscular size decreases, you get slower, you get weaker, blah, blah, blah. How you can prevent that, we all know, is through strength training. So your number one weapon for older athletes is strength training. Once again, pretty simple. Activating the glutes, mobilizing the hips, getting stronger through your bilateral patterns, getting stronger through your supplementary work, conditioning work. Pretty simple. Same stuff, same stuff.
Right. And that... Next question.
Oh, that was a good one, eh?
Well, you got heated.
I just thought that anyway. People just talk about the hamstring all the time and the fucking glutes, hip extensor.
Alright.
Hit me again, son. You guys liking the return? Sandor or myself? Big Sandor. Alex is very close with Sandor. We all three are ever since doing this return video. I'm sure Alex has heard enough of my shit and so does Sandor, but poor Sandor has to deal with it. I think he just watches and he just listens. He's like, God, this guy talks a lot of crap. He's a good man. That's a shout out to Mr. Shandor Earl.
All right. I'm sorry I don't have your name. Hey, Woodford. This is my question for AskWoodford. Look, man, I'm inspired by how you started Woodford, and I'm sure there would have been a lot of tough times. I was wanting to ask a question unrelated to sport. I'm going through tough times with wanting to start my own business, but I don't know what to choose and how to start, and mostly how to get through tough times. It would be great to hear from someone that has built their own business from scratch and received some advice.
Really good question.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the biggest bit of advice I can give you, everyone goes through tough times in life. Everyone, me, you, Alex, the kid who asked me the question, life is not meant to be easy. I think the best thing that I ever did was that when I was younger was I never got handouts. I don't think I've had a free ride with anything in my life. I've always done things the hard way. And if you look at the fitness industry as a whole, and I know I bash it a lot, but I bash it in a way that I just try and improve it, and that's just the only way I know how. And I try and get people to come with me. I think if you look at the fitness industry as a whole, let's just take that industry because I'm in it. A lot of them take the easy way out. A lot of them want that celebrity lifestyle without doing any work. Look at the knowledge base that you need to do this job, especially in a local gym. It's pretty low, so no one really chases knowledge. Everyone sees these guys on Instagram making all this money and doing nothing, and that's the worst part about this industry is literally you can not know anything and pass yourself as an expert as long as you've got an Instagram or a Facebook or a Twitter. And I think that when I started Woodford, I'm not saying that I'm perfect with it.
It's going to be 15 minutes late, so we got no more time.
Oh, perfect. Excellent. I'm not saying that I'm perfect at everything I do, but I think the biggest thing about Woodford was I came back with a goal, and I think if I knew your name, I'll say your name right now.
Nick Maines, I found it.
Nick Maines?
Nick Maines.
Nick Maines. So Nick, I think the biggest thing that I can pass on you is I'm no smarter than anyone in this industry. I don't think I am. Most people think I'm an arrogant asshole, but that's just how I sell Woodford. That's just how I am. I'm very staunch with my methods. I'm not going to change everyone. And if you ask my mother, I'm very stubborn. I'm the most stubborn person. If I believe in something, I'll just keep going with it. I don't really give a fuck what anyone thinks of me. I've never cared really until I started. I did care, and then I started this business and I really didn't care. So my biggest piece of advice when you're going through tough times, or if you want to start a business, is passion. Not a lot of people talk about this a lot, but I think that passion's the most important thing in life. Don't do something half-assed. If you're going to do something, do it with love, do it with passion. And I think when I started Woodford, I had this goal and I had this dream, and no shit, I used to dream about this. I dreamt about everything that's happened in my life to date. Everything that's happened in my life, I've dreamt about. I dreamt about having a facility with racks, with turf, training athletes from pro, semi-pro, amateur to weekend warrior. I wanted to be the leader in this industry. I wanted to be the guy in Australia to change the game. And I had this whole idea that within 5, 6, 7 years, I'd become the guy in the private sector who changed the whole industry. And I wanted it so bad. I used to dream about it. And they say visualization is a powerful tool, and I know it is because it's worked for me. Because if you get up every day with passion, with drive, with goals, no one can stop you. And don't worry if people give you shit, or don't worry if people who bring you down, they're just fucking scared of you, brother. You know, that's what I've kind of noticed is the more success I've got, the more people want to tear me down. For me, I don't give a flying fuck really. They're never going to do better than me, I know that. And my thing is just stay on the course, I'll cop it and I'll just keep going forward. Every day I keep going forward, I get better. I've got this rule, I've got to get better every day. And that doesn't mean in S&C, that doesn't mean in my coaching. That could be with my family, with my relationships, with my staff, with knowledge. It could be a life, whatever book I'm reading, it's to get better. Every day, a little bit and a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. But for fuck's sake, don't stagnate. That's the worst thing, because you stagnate and you go backwards. Okay, you never want to go backwards in life, always move forwards. And sometimes in life, and I've dealt with it last year, and I had some tough times last year, and don't think I'm not having tough times. This is not easy. Business is not easy. I don't like business. I love the coaching side, but I don't like the business side that comes with it. But last year we had a tough time as Woodford because we were a growing brand. And I think the biggest thing for me is I wanted to quit this at least, and this might come as a surprise to people, but I wanted to quit and go back to America at least 400 times in 4 years, just because it beats me down a bit.
I still feel that now?
Nah. Every so often. You know, everyone, people have bad days,
right.
But it beats me down sometimes. I don't want to be like, it's like this. I hate the business side of it, man. I've told you, Alex, I hate it because people use me. Thank God I've got good people behind me now, like my old man, and Subsy's doing real well. I just don't want to hear about the business side. I don't care about it. I need it to make money because we need money to fucking run this, but I'll just do what I do best, and that's be a performance coach. That's what I was born to do, and that's what I want to do. So I've had some hard times, and yeah, I wanted to give up, man, heaps of times. But you know what stops giving me up, stops me from giving this whole thing up, is passion. You know, I just love doing it, man. I love my athletes. I love anyone who comes down to Woodford and wants to get better. I don't give a fuck if it's an AFL player, NBL player, A-League player, Australian player, Vic Rep. I don't care if it's that, or it's like a 13-year-old kid who plays under 12. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's just if you want to get better. I want to create a culture and environment that's so unparalleled in any gym, any facility in Australia. I want to create something that was never been seen before. I want to create the best gym, the best performance facility in the world. And that's what I still want to do. Now, I'm not saying that we are, but I want to become it. Why dream low? Dream high. You know, why does everyone sell themselves out when they want their dreams, you know, and they're scared to tell the world? You know, tell the fucking world, man. Nick, if you got a dream, go tell the fucking world. I told the world 4 years ago. People didn't like it. People said you're never going to do it. What are those people doing right now? Fucking nothing, probably. But I put it out to the universe, and I said, I'm going to become this guy, and I'm going to lead the industry in the private sector. I'm going to become the best performance coach in Australia. And I believe I have. And I'm not saying that I don't keep working on it, because I've got to keep working on it. But I'm only 10 years in my journey, 4 years at Woodford, 10 years in my whole career. You know, after 20 years, let's see where I'm at. Let's all make a judgment where I'm at. I think I've done pretty well after 4 years. Where are we going to be at in Woodford after 10 years? Where am I going to be after 20 years of my coaching career? You know, I think the best thing I can give to you if you want to run a business is have passion, be driven, have goals, but most importantly, want to help people. If you want to get in this industry, want to help people, want to do the best for people. And that's what I want. But the most important thing is passion, and that rules me. I love what I do. I go through hard times, but everyone does. But get yourself up, Nick. Wipe yourself off and have a crack. Just have a dip. That's my biggest thing, is have a dip. My whole thing in life, this is how I think, is I want to go when I'm 60, look back at my life and say, I don't want to look back at my life and say, fuck, should have done that. So I'm going to do everything. I'm going to have a dip. That's how I took when I used to play sport. I just had a crack. Wasn't the best. I was outclassed most of the time, but fuck it, I gave it a crack. And that's what I do in business. I have a crack at everything I do. That's why I'm doing this show. To show people, there's a higher level of knowledge out there. Hopefully that answers your question. Hopefully that gets you fired up, gets you passionate. Next question.
All right, this is one from YouTube comment.
Yeah.
G'day Christian, I'm a massive fan, by the way, currently studying exercise sports science. Would you recommend granting a strength and conditioning accreditation, level 1, I think she means ASCA, as a way of gaining coaching experience and exposure to the athletic performance development environment? Daina.
You can do a level 1. That's fine. That's just the accreditation that everyone looks at in terms of just a basic accreditation. If you're doing exercise science, that's great. That just gives you a general theoretical grounding. But you want to start applying this in a gym-based setting. Now, regardless if this is for, and I talk about this to our interns a lot, regardless if it's for athletes or general pop, it's the same shit. There's only that much of a difference between training an athlete and training a general population client. I mean, are you still going to hinge them? Are you still going to squat them, deadlift them? Are you still going to do your basic prong patterns, my big 6? Of course you are. So they're the core of your programs for performance, injury reduction, fat loss, muscle gain, because we know the best way you can lose body fat is through developing lean body mass. So what was the name?
Daina.
I think the most important thing is start coaching now. Go. I did it, I think that's the best thing I did at the time. I fucking hated it, but I think it was go to a gym, start as a personal trainer. I started at the bottom level. I remember when I started, I was so passionate. I just want to get experience, but start at the bottom level, see what it's like, Start applying your trade, start applying your knowledge for just general population clients. Start coaching in a gym, start training yourself. That's a big one. You got to train yourself. As I said, even though I don't look like I train, Stubbsy, I'm doing all right. I train 5 days a week. I'm gone through the stage. I really don't, I'm not really lifting that heavy relative anymore. I really can't be bothered with it. I still lift heavy, but I'm not going to go for stupid numbers anymore. 220 pull or 225 pull, whatever that was. I'm just not going to do it. I just don't think you need to do it. I condition myself. I do speed work. I mobilise every day. Tissue quality. I think because I always do the programs I give to my athletes. I do first, so I know how to coach them, progress them, regress them. So that's a very important thing: is train yourself, train clients. So get used to communication, because the art of being a coach is communication. It's one of the biggest things is get buy-in from your athletes. No athlete's going to buy into you if you don't train yourself, if you don't look like you train yourself. Or number 2, you can't really coach them. Coaching's an art. So the only way you can learn how to coach is in a gym setting or, out in a park coaching technique, sprint technique, and learning how to progress and regress it. You can only do that through actually doing it. And I call it coaching reps. The reason why I got so much better at my job was because when I went to America, I got so many coaching reps. You just need coaching reps to get better. Coaching reps. And coaching a squat, coaching a deadlift, seeing the difference between long levers and short levers, seeing the differences in setup. How do you coach this? How do you coach that? And the more coaching reps, the better you get at. So I say to my young coaches is just get people down here. Get young athletes down here. Coach them on a squat. Coach them on a deadlift. Because the more reps you get, the better quality reps, the better you get at it, the more comfortable you get at it, the better coach you become. So hopefully, Daina, that answers your question.
All right, last one, mystery one. He doesn't know about it.
Oh, here we go.
This is from YouTube. How would you program an athlete with a prosthetic leg, knee down, bearing in mind he's essentially little to no ankle mobility on his prosthetic leg?
Oh, that's a great question. Number one, first I'm going to say I haven't dealt with someone with a prosthetic leg, but I have dealt with someone without working legs. Heath Davidson. Yep. So it's a shout out to Heath, gold medalist in the Paralympics at wheelchair tennis. Massive shout out to Heath Davidson, who's overseas at the moment in the USA. But when he first started, I was a bit overawed with it, like a bit fucking like, what the fuck do I do? But him and I got to know each other real well, and we're real comfortable now with each other. So I kind of know what I'm kind of doing with that stuff now. With a prosthetic leg, I don't want to give you advice that I don't know, like I don't know how much load that can take. It'd be an interesting one. And also, he makes sense because you lack dorsiflexion in the ankle, because you wouldn't probably have it because it's a prosthetic ankle as well. So that's a good point. It's a good question. I would just be very careful. I would start light. Make sure you're getting that full range. Granted, if you've got full range of motion of your hip, because you can still do hip mobility work, which is critical for a squat because you need to go in deep hip flexion. But in terms of the ankle stuff, as I said, I'd have to look at your squat to make a better judgment. But my advice to you is start light and build your way up and make sure you're getting that full range of motion of the hip. With the ankle, I don't know what the range is. So once again, it's a very wide open question. I'll just start light, use common sense and build up slowly. And sorry, it doesn't answer your question best, but I don't know how much load that would take. That's the best I can I can give for that answer. But that's it.
Episode 2, done.
That is episode 2, ladies and gentlemen. Don't want to thank my man Alex on the camera. Episode 3. We're starting to roll on this now. Episode 3 will be filmed next week. If you have a question, Facebook, Instagram, email me, christian@woodfordsc.com. Ask me. I'll answer 3 questions, 1 mystery. Episode 2 signing off. Before I sign off, thank you to our sponsors, Mac Iron Fitness. For all your equipment needs, at Woodford Sports Science Consulting, we only use Mac Iron Fitness bands. To order, go to www.macironfitness.com.au. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Alex.